Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 7, text 6. Etad yonini bhutani sarvaniti upadharaya aham kritsnasya jagataha prabhavaha pralayastadha. So Krishna in the previous verse, two verses, explained these two different energies, the material and the spiritual. The material energy consisting of the Panchamahabhuta, earth, water, air, fire, ether, and the three subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are the material energies. And Krishna explained in the previous verse the spiritual energy, Para Prakriti, which is the Jiva Bhuta, or the spirit soul. Now he is saying these two, this material world, this material manifestation, whatever is in existence, is composed of these two energies. So, iti, sarvani bhutani, all the things that exist in this material manifestation, yonini, etat, these, the source of birth, the source of this whole manifestation exists in these two energies, etat yonini, sarvani bhutani. Iti upadharaya, you know Arjuna, in this way you understand. Aham kritsnasya jagataha, and I am the origin of these both, and sometimes they come into existence and sometimes they are dissolved. Prabhavaha pralayaha tadha. So everything that exists in this world, whatever we see, is a product of matter and spirit. Whatever you see, there may be a table or a chair or house or a television, a gadget. It is manufactured, put into place, assembled by the spirit soul. Matter is created by spirit. Spirit is not created by matter. People say, oh, the consciousness comes into the baby at certain stages of development of chemicals together. Consciousness comes. No. If consciousness was not there right from the beginning, the embryo does not grow in the womb. Rather, because of the spirits being present, there is development. And the spirit soul also manipulates this material energy. Whatever we see in this world, the buildings, the objects, they're all put together. Of course, we cannot create earth, water, air, fire, ether. We can only assemble them together. They're all created by Krishna. Of course, we have, because we are part and parcel of Krishna, we also have the ability to create. For example, we produce water in the body, like we perspire, sweat. But when Krishna perspires, when Mahavishnu perspires, there is, when Garbhodakashayi Vishnu perspires, there is Garbha ocean, huge ocean, and he lies down. And it is pure water. So we have ability to create, but it is tiny because we are part and parcel of Krishna. We have the same abilities as Krishna, but in a minute quantity. Prabhupada always gives this example of a lemon tree. The lemon tree continuously produces citric acid because the lemon tree is alive. The spirit soul in the lemon tree is active. As long as it is alive, it is producing this lemon fruit which contains citric acid. So, like that, the spirit soul produces matter. Just like Krishna produces huge amount of matter, the spirit soul also can produce. It's natural. Like, for example, if you become the CEO of a company, based on your desire and interest, you will procure things in the office, you will hire people, you produce products, isn't it? Based on your desire, everything is coming. The products, the people. Of course, people you cannot produce, you have to only hire. So, similarly, the spirit soul produces matter based on its desire. Of course, originally Krishna only produced matter, but that matter is, spirit soul uses that matter to produce further matter for its purpose, for his purpose. Bhagavatam further explains how this matter is further produced from our false ego. False ego with the mode of ignorance combined produces first the sound, and for the sound to travel there is sky that is manufactured, and then for the sound to be heard there is ears that are manufactured. So false ego means our tendency to enjoy matter. We think we are matter, we need matter. So the Lord facilitates production of matter for our enjoyment. So anyway, matter is produced from spirit, not the other way around. Srila Prabhupada actually coined this phrase, life comes from life. It means spirit soul can come only from another spirit soul like our father. Only when a father injects the spirit soul through the semen into the mother's womb, only then life comes. No amount of pure material interaction can produce life. As much as the modern science tries to convince that life comes from chemicals, they have not been able to prove that. All the theories are just that, theories. Because the odds of forming life from chemicals is virtually impossible. Like, for example, it is said that this bacteria means, you can only see in the microscope, isn't it? That's the simplest conceivable form of life. And it is said that inside that bacteria, known at least there are 600 different protein molecules. And now they might have discovered even more. And the interesting thing is, they are not simple protein molecules. They are shaped in a three-dimensional spatial arrangements. And the way they work is just like you have this, in a house you lock. When you go out, you lock the house, and when you have to come, you have to open with a key. Isn't it? It's a three-dimensional key with a particular shape. And anything slightly incorrect, the key will not fit and it will not open. So these proteins, they work like this key fitting into the lock. Only a specific shaped protein will fit. And there are multiple trillions of possible combinations of protein molecules and shapes. How could the exactly required shape find the exactly corresponding protein in order to perform this cellular function? So, even for the simplest of bacteria, the mathematical probability that the precisely designed molecules are needed for making that bacteria function to have life, and they say that by chance it formed. So by chance, they say, oh, some amino acids are the chemicals that link up to form proteins. So they formed in such a way that these proteins are formed, and all these proteins, out of trillions of possible proteins, they got mixed up, and they knew how to function like the key inserting into the lock. So the scientists, they estimate that the possibility of such a combination can arise by itself, by randomness, is 1 in 10 to the power of 450. So most scientists acknowledge that any possibility less than 1 to the power of 10 to the 1 in 10 to the power of 50 is considered impossible. And what to speak of 10 to the power of 450? But unfortunately, that is being taught as a fact of science in schools. It's just like saying you give monkeys a keyboard and a computer, and you ask the monkeys to type, and you have innumerable monkeys typing on innumerable keywords. They say that at the eventually they will produce Bhagavad Gita, 700 beautiful slokas with full of meaning, which is eternally truth. How rare it is. So it's just like that. The chance that life comes into existence without any designer is just like saying that. So Prabhupada, he he said one time there are two misleading theories in the West. One is that life comes from matter, and the other is that there is no life after death. You can just enjoy this life. Oh, everything is gone at the end of life. You can just enjoy. So that is why people don't like Krishna consciousness movement, because it brings in the law of karma, law of dharma, living according to the will of God, cultivating God consciousness and not just sense gratification. And people want sense gratification. So, on the basis of sense gratification, there can never be unity and peace. Just like you see set of street dogs, they're always barking and shouting. You walk on the streets, and the dogs will be barking from the homes. Hey, why are you encroaching my property? Because your sense gratification is disturbed, you will bark and you will fight. The whole world is like barking and fighting just like animals, like street dogs. Where will there be peace and happiness? So, on the basis of sense gratification, we can never find happiness in this world. Only when we bring God to the center, and it is not saying secular, it's not saying that, oh, only Indian God is the God. Like Prabhupada says, you can worship any God that is mentioned in the scripture as long as you follow the tenets given in the scriptures. Then you are following dharma. But you are not following in the name of rubber stamping, oh, I am a Christian or Muslim or Hindu or whatever. You're not following the dharma. That means you are not serving God. You are, in the name of serving God, you are having sense gratification. That will not bring about peace and happiness. So, coming back to the purport, Prabhupada mentions the entire cosmic manifestation of the gigantic universe is developed because of the presence of the super soul Vishnu. Just like the body in the mother's womb is developed because of the spirit soul, and the body is now continuously being developed because of the spirit soul. Similarly, this whole cosmic manifestation, this gigantic universe is developed and it is still growing as we understand from science. How? Because there is the super soul Vishnu. Garbhodakashayi Vishnu is there. So the universe is considered like a huge body of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. So when Vishnu enters, the body grows. Like when the spirit soul enters our body, the body grows. And then Prabhupada mentions in the purport, a fragmental part and parcel of the Lord, namely the living entity, may, by manipulation of material energy, construct a skyscraper, factory, or city, but he cannot create matter out of nothing. And he certainly cannot construct a planet or universe. So we can only manipulate what is already provided to us. Just like Lord Brahma, he was given all ingredients and he acted as the secondary creator. So a living entity can manipulate and create a small, tiny thing, which is considered wonderful. So Prabhupada one time gave this example, like we created this huge aircraft which can take 200 people, 300 people, isn't it? But still, we are lagging behind the ancient technology where Kardama Muni created a city which can fly with all kinds of comforts, parks, houses, everything. And they were going to different planets. He created by his mystic power. So we are still lagging. But even then, Prabhupada gave the example. Krishna, how he created this huge or this most tiniest of aircraft. You see these bugs or the small insects, very, very tiny, but they have all kinds of machinery in their body to be able to fly without engine, without, not engine, without fuel. Most intricately formed wings, most intricate engine, everything is working. Can we create that? No, we can only create gross things. But subtle creation, only Krishna can create. And Krishna created these huge planets and universes. They are just floating in the sky like cotton swabs. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said one time, one devotee, out of his compassion, Vasudeva Datta, he came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, see, I see the suffering of all these living entities, and I cannot tolerate their suffering. Why don't you transfer all their sinful reactions to me? I am willing to suffer for them. Please take them back to Godhead. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, see, your causeless mercy, your compassion is unmatchable. But he said, yeah, Krishna actually doesn't have to transfer their sinful reactions to you. Krishna can take them back, not this whole earth, like he can take back the whole universe. There is no loss for Krishna. It is one universe is considered like a small mustard seed in a bag of mustard seeds. This whole material manifestation, he compared to be like a huge bag of mustard seeds. And can we count the number of mustard seeds? It's innumerable. So there are innumerable material universes in which we are living in one universe whose extent we cannot even estimate. Just imagine Krishna created and Krishna is sustaining with his Ananta incarnation on his hoods these innumerable universes. And within each universe, the intricate arrangement of planets and life. So this is Krishna. Whereas we become proud of our own abilities to do things. So Prabhupada, he wrote this book called Easy Journey to Other Planets. If you are familiar, that's the first book he wrote actually. So in that book, he had brought up this very interesting article that was published in the Times of India in 1959. So there were these Nobel Prize winning American atomic scientists, two scientists. They got this Nobel Prize in physics in 1959 for the discovery of antiproton, proving that matter exists in two forms as particles and antiparticles. So Prabhupada wrote that in his Back to Godhead magazine and provided that in Easy Journey to Other Planets book also. So basically, they say that according to their theory, there may exist another world or an anti-world built up of antimatter. This anti-world would consist of atoms and subatomic particles spinning in reverse orbits to those of the world we know. If these two worlds would ever clash, they would both be annihilated in one blinding flash. And so Prabhupada dissected this theory and he said, out of three propositions they made, the first is there is an antimaterial atom or particle, and then there is another antimaterial world. He said these two are correct, which is antimaterial world is spiritual world. We agree that there is a spiritual world, another spiritual world. And then there is spirit, which is made of Satchidananda Vigraha. They're calling antimaterial atom or particle. Yes, that is also correct. But then the third proposition is these two worlds may clash at certain period and there will be annihilation. Prabhupada said we cannot agree because parastasmat tu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha. That spiritual world is eternal. Because if it is subjected to annihilation, then what is the difference between this material and that anti-material thing? It must also be a material if it is subject to annihilation. It cannot be anti-material. So, Prabhupada further said that this knowledge is already given in Vedic literature. And because we cannot perceive what is that anti-material thing with our material senses, we have to accept the authority of the Vedic literature, which is given by God, who is beyond this material existence and from whom this everything came about. The knowledge of Vedic literature is given by God. And to summarize all this Vedic literature, the Bhagavad Gita is given, which is considered as the cream of all Upanishads. Upanishads themselves is considered the cream of all Vedic literature. Bhagavad Gita is considered the cream of all Vedic literature. And in that Bhagavad Gita, we are studying this particular concept of how Krishna is the origin of both the spiritual energy and the material energy. And Krishna's abode is there in the spiritual world. We belong to the spiritual world. But we came to this material world to enjoy, and we are actually struggling. And Krishna is inviting us to go back to that spiritual world, live eternally without having to worry about disease, death, rebirth, old age. We'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.